Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. With the cancellation of the Acolyte, the no longer having a season 2, hundreds, if not thousands, of YouTube channels and content creators are in mourning right now. Those who want to praise the show and shill to no end and how fantastic Manny Jacinto's abs are, or how they want to see the power of 3. Yes, that was an actual tweet. The power of 3. What on earth are you trying to insinuate? The channels who do nothing more than point out the massive, massive flaws in the writing, the story, the acting, and yet get called bigots and misogynists with no actual evidence. But all these channels will have hardly anything to talk about. And today, ladies and gentlemen, with this video, I'd like to go through a few of the responses on Twitter of caring, understanding, the patient, non-toxic part of the fandom who want the show to continue, who they want the season 2. Let's see what that sane side of Twitter has to say. Starting off with this lovely little tweet. They canceled the Acolyte because they couldn't stand the sight of two hot people of color holding hands, but I will always remember. Starting out the gate pretty strong here, making accusations of racism with no actual proof. It's quite amazing. Let's see what the next one holds in store. Good old Kyle over here. The Acolyte was great. Not just good. It was great. It was innovative. It was thoughtful, engaging. Okay, if that were the case, then why? Where's the modern audience? Where's the audience that came and watched it? Because they didn't cancel the Acolyte because people hated it, that people made videos over and over again, dunking on the whole thing. They canceled it because it was the lowest rated Star Wars show on Disney Plus. They don't care about what we have to say. They come out before the shows, running damage control before the show is even released or after the first episode even, calling fans, calling any sort of criticism racist, misogynist, bigoted. So if it's so innovative, where was the audience? It was the first Star Wars my kids were actively interested in. That should be part of the Geneva Convention, or against the Geneva Convention. That sounds like torture. Interested in watching, and it should have been renewed. I agree with you 100%, but not for the same reasons as you do. Its cancellation, just like Willow, oh, don't bring that up, is a mistake. If it's a mistake, where was the audience? Molly over here writes, quote, "It wasn't racism, it was the ratings," is a weak argument because the loudest haters were the racist misogynists encouraging people to trash the show, but whatever. Not one time did I encourage anyone to trash the show. Not one time did I see any reviews, what Molly would call the usual suspects, the bigots and racists and misogynists. Not one time did I see them encouraging people to trash the show. They simply made reviews of the parts that they liked and didn't like. And yes, there were some parts that were good. There were some actors that did a fantastic performance. And yet, damn it, I forgot what the word is. My brain malfunctioned, ladies and gentlemen. Twitter is melting my brain. Any sort of criticism towards the show is viewed, as always, if it's negative criticism, racist, misogynist, despite going point by point, the things that we liked and didn't like. Reese over here, y'all canceled the one Star Wars show that has potential. What potential? It dragged, it was boring for the most part, and it disrespected everything that came before it. Decanonizing, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, y'all seen, oh God, here we go again. Here's some more accusations of racism. Y'all seen a black actor, she's an actress, in the lead role and took it as the show being woke. No, actually, the Acolyte wasn't woke. There was nothing about it that I found was woke. It was poorly written. One of the best... oh, gosh. Really? One of the best storytelling for Star Wars, and y'all threw it down the fucking drain. I'm tired of y'all. None of y'all deserve the Acolyte. That is true. I will agree with that. We did not deserve the $180 million bust that was the Acolyte, burning a pile of money, an absolute waste. I do enjoy this. The only Star Wars show with potential is Andor, to which Reese responds, Cassian Andor's dead. Sorry, so's the Acolyte. Roran here says, great, the Fandom Menace won. This is much like Gamergate. You bring up the Fandom Menace, and people, normies, anyone who sees this and randomly, doesn't know who that is. They have no idea what you're talking about. They have no frame of reference. Continuously bringing up these names, these monikers, these labels, is meaningless now. Kind of a lot like calling people bigot, racist, and misogynist. These words hold absolutely no meaning anymore because you use them so widespread as such a generalization towards, again, any and all criticism for a show that you seem to like. You claim it's so great and fantastic and wonderful, and yet, where was the audience? The Acolyte is canceled, and nothing of value was lost. They're the ones ruining Star Wars, not Disney. Really? You don't say. So, Mahler, the Critical Drinker, Gary from Nerdrotic, who else? Jeremy with Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Kennel. All these people, they're the ones that went to Disney and ruined the show for them. Those were the writers, the producers, the showrunners. They're the ones, really, that went to each and every household and said, don't you dare watch this show. Twisted their arm, blackmailed them even, to tell them not to watch the show. Do you genuinely believe that? I think they do. They're not getting what they want, so they have to throw a tantrum. Really? Who's throwing a tantrum? Like the man babies there are. Who's on Twitter right now screaming and crying from the rafters? We'll get to some really good ones in a moment, folks. Like the man babies they are, and ruin things for the rest of us. Again, we're not the ones writing the show. We are simply talking about the shows. I was really hoping for a season 2. I'll say this again. So were we. Alec over here, the Acolyte being canceled is just another example of toxic internet hate, because that's what it takes to cancel a show. This idea that hate on social media is going to get a show canceled. If you love it so much, Alec, why don't you put yourself out there on social media? You make a YouTube channel. Just like the rest of us did. You watch the show, you talk about it, break it apart, piece by piece, scene by scene, describing what you love about the scene in full detail, much the same as we tried to do. Breaking down the scenes on what we liked and what we didn't like. Maybe your positivity on the internet could go a long way. Make your own channel, put your money where your mouth is. The show never got a chance to breathe. That's because it was terrible. And half the people, this is another argument I absolutely love. Half the people hating on it never even watched the show. Well, I know I'm in the top half of that demographic. I watched the show. It was terrible. There were a few scenes that were enjoyable. They were a couple of lightsaber scenes, but that was about it. The story, the plot, the pacing, the character motivation of May switching every other scene was just ridiculous. It's not my favorite piece of Star Wars content. Yeah, a lot of people felt the same way. But it certainly didn't deserve to get axed. It actually didn't deserve to get made. But, you know, let's see. There's a few contents. Why didn't the target audience show up? Madam Savvy, we love you. Amy over here, I'm really tired of sharing the franchise I love with toxic, misogynist, immature, racist. Where's your proof? And constantly seeing them getting catered to. Catered to? If this so-called toxic, misogynist, immature, racist fan base that you're talking about was being catered to, we wouldn't have shows like Ahsoka and Acolyte. They would not exist if what you're claiming that they are being catered to were true. But it's provenly false, and you're just crying on the internet like a little, I guess, woman baby? Or am I assuming your gender? Even though the rest of us have all been here. Apparently not enough, because the show didn't have the ratings, and it got canceled. All along, wanting new and fresh stories that connect deeply with all of us. Well, there's where we agree again. I'm agreeing with these people. That's what we want as well. The so-called toxic misogynist, blah, 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 blah. Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. It's buzzword salad. That's all this is. And I even want to question, Amy, did you even watch the show? But back to my point. We want new, fresh stories, but we want them to be well written, relatively logical based on the universe that is Star Wars, with sensible character motivations that don't turn on a dime. I have to keep checking this because I want to see when Savvy responds. Oh, good old Jacob, J. Tim Suggs. He is such a fantastic shill, and yes, I'm calling him a shill because he is a shill. Anytime I see a picture of Geeks and Gamers Losers, here we go. We're name calling here. I'm reminded now what Jacob does in the next couple of posts is something I've been seeing a little bit of, where you start your post off with an insult. But let's read. I'll get to the rest of it. I'm reminded of when I dressed up as a toxic Star Wars fan for Halloween in 2019, and Jeremy thought I was actually dressed up as him personally. Really? I'm going to press X to doubt on that one. But where's this next one? This is the fun one. Massive day for incel YouTube. So you start your post off with an insult. Incel YouTube channels with under 10K subscribers, so that's supposed to matter. Subscriber count is supposed to matter. Making the worst clickbait and problematic videos, more buzzwords, you have ever seen. Well, Jacob's not done in this because he has something to say. Every single person quoting this and calling me the worst possible names are legitimately proving my point. Dear old Jacob, what do you expect when you start your post off calling everyone incel YouTube channels with under 10K subscribers? Well, somebody had a little response to this one. It's a shame someone with no talent. Oh, that would be him. But Stuttering Craig comes in here for the win. It's like you picked 10K to look down on when you literally just passed 10K subscribers. My goodness. Isn't that a shame? Why do you want to throw shade on someone's subscriber count? My little almost 4,100 count at the time of this video. Why are you trying to insult me? Why does my opinion just not seem to matter? And automatically, if I put out an opinion that doesn't align with yours, I'm immediately an incel YouTube channel. It's interesting. Well, you're a bell-end twat shill channel who offers absolutely no constructive criticism when it comes to these shows. You offer nothing except, I loved it, it was fantastic, this was good, with absolutely no reasoning behind why you think something is good, why a story is good, why the Acolyte was good. How about you work on that, Jacob, instead of slinging out insults when someone disagrees with your delicate fifis? This is an interesting one. I love this. Mahler comes in and says what we all feel, but in such a more eloquent way. Awesome to see an abhorrent fucking mess of a show which get the consequences it deserves instead of just bleeding money like the $180 million for the first season and fans for seasons on end. We fucking won with this one. Now, I will disagree with that one. I do not believe that we won with this one because it was a Star Wars show that was complete and utter trash. Much like The Acolyte, which was complete and utter trash. We are getting diminishing returns with one series after another, when honestly, all we want is a good show. But we get another season, another 8 episodes of garbage, and we don't want that. I do not consider that a win. I'm sorry. Maybe it's a win that they're not going to continue to beat the dead horse that is The Acolyte with a season 2, but I would prefer they put more of that money, more of that investment into talented writers who have a love for the entire lore that is Star Wars, the entire universe, instead of trying to make changes to what's come before it. Maybe respect what's come before it. That's what we yearn for. But the reason why I brought up this tweet is the response that Mahler had. Consequences it deserves. It didn't commit a crime, Mahler. What? What on? How do you make that? How do you make that comparison? Saying that the show was canceled are the consequences of a poorly written show and poor ratings. Comparing that to a crime or thinking, I don't understand some people on Twitter. Now, Master of the TDS comes in. We're gonna end this with such a banger of a win, showing off how sane and understanding and how the Disney shills, they're not toxic whatsoever. My goodness. fuck Disney, fuck Lucasfilms, fuck Dave Filoni, fuck Jon Favreau, fuck Kathleen Kennedy, fuck Star Wars. I like this one so far, except for the fuck Star Wars theories. Yes, I mean, you agree with that, right? But they are mad. Fuck incels, fuck Grogu, fuck you all. Wow. People are upset, actually upset, that Acolyte got canceled. Master of the TDS coming in. Yes, guys, the toxic fandom, check notes, tanked the viewership and got the show canceled. I would love an explanation of how we accomplished that. Very interesting. Now, you guys didn't watch it, and the numbers prove it. Yep, that is true. Mike says, or it could be the toxic fandom, and it becoming the cool thing to bash it and call it woke. Again, I don't think it was woke. People like joining hate trains. Nah, I don't think that's entirely true. Because there is a massive section of YouTube that absolutely loves Arcane, which just looking at the characters, you would immediately assume, you know, the main lead character having pinkish hair, side shaved, you know, the classic SJW haircut, as everyone calls it. And she's a lesbian. And yet Arcane is absolutely beloved just about across the internet, across content creators. Hands down, fantastic, beautiful 9 episodes. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. So, yeah. Anyway, people love hate trains. No. They just want to voice their opinion on what they like and what they don't like. But again, this idea, the toxic fandom, the fandom menace, they're the reason why the show got canceled. No. As Master TDS says, you guys didn't watch it. That's it. But what else do we have here? A whole bunch of posts. Yes, we are the toxic fans. We are the toxic fans, ladies and gentlemen. When you have Bob Pace, let's see. I'm so sick of that wasn't Bob Pace, Pop Bass. Wow, dyslexic. Anyway, I'm so sick of Star Wars fans. You all will, oh wow, okay. And go to hell. My goodness. The Acolyte canceled because of racist fucking misogynist jerks. Wow. I don't think I can say this on YouTube. I don't think I can say this. Can y'all see this? I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'll let you read this for yourself because I really don't think I can say this. I mean, I don't, in Minecraft. How about that? I'll say that. You kill all the men in Minecraft on this fucking planet in Minecraft. Wow! Racist Star Wars fans all got a, holy, oh my goodness. We're the toxic fans? We're the toxic ones. Fuck you, Disney Plus, for canceling, you're yelling here. Canceling the Acolyte, you let the racist and sexic dude bros win and let the beautiful inclusive show die. Well, maybe you should have gotten more people to watch it. Okay. Star Wars fun fact. Oh, yeah, I don't think I can read this. It's right there on the screen. We're the toxic fans, and yet these are the people responding to the cancellation of the Acolyte. This is amazing. Okay, Acolyte is canceled. Are you okay? Wow. Why do you hang two dead mice under your armpits? Your mother went through untold hardships to give birth to... Is this an odd translation? I gotta read this. Hardships to give birth to you, but you didn't bring her even one moment of pride. Even God has abandoned you with a jealous face. The cheerleader in your school days ignored you. Your colleague next door after work forget you. The baby didn't want to enjoy your hut. Wow, that's a massive insult. Holy crap. Not the best thing to reply to someone sad about the show they liked ending. Don't yuck your other people's yums. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, we get called to being toxic and insulting and hateful and all this other stuff, and yet when the responses to the Acolyte being canceled are massively hateful, starting off with insulting anyone at all, anyone and everyone who criticized the show, you insult them, you call them names, you call them bigots, incels, racist, misogynists, and then when you get clapback in your responses, you act like the victim. Should we be surprised? Probably not. Disney, these are the toxic fans that you are trying to cater to. These are the people you wanted to watch your shows. They're not. And neither are the longtime fans who actually still love Star Wars, just not the crap that you're putting out. So it looks like this is finally the end of Acolyte coverage. I don't know how much more I can do. It's just fun. Thank you for joining me on this lovely little romp through the toxic sludge pool that is Twitter. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all the nifty little things that YouTubers beg you to do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.